Ever feel like scrolling through the headlines is like, uh, trying to find a needle in a haystack?
Yeah, definitely. So much noise, so little signal, right?
Exactly. And today we're tackling a topic that's all about separating the signal from the noise. We're diving deep into WikiLeaks.
Always a fascinating subject,
Yeah.
and the documents you've brought to the table today make it even more so.
Absolutely. We're not just talking about the leaks themselves, but about the actual process of leaking. Vault 7 projects and those instructions for potential leakers. Intriguing stuff.
It's like a backstage pass to something most people only ever see the final act of.
Right. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage. For
Mhm.
anyone who's new to all this, what exactly IS WikiLeaks?
Well, you could think of it as a digital vault for secrets, a platform where people can anonymously release information they believe the public should see.
Information that's often classified, often controversial, and often puts the leaker at significant risk.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting because they've gone to great lengths to make sure those sources stay protected.
Okay, so let's say you're someone who's stumbled across, I don't know, some explosive piece of information. What's step one? Do you just, send an email to WikiLeaks? I don't even know what their email would be.
It's definitely not that straightforward. And for good reason, given the sensitivity of the information we're talking about, anonymity is paramount.
Right, so how do you even begin to make contact? Smoke signals, dead drops.
Not quite that old school, but they do have specific instructions, and they're serious about security. They strongly recommend using something called Tor, or the onion router. You familiar with that?
Okay, so Tor, it's like the invisibility cloak of the internet, right?
In a nutshell, yes. Imagine trying to follow someone's tracks through a forest, but every step they take, their footprints disappear.
So each layer of the onion, so to speak, masks your movements, making it near impossible to trace back to you.
Exactly, which is absolutely crucial for anyone trying to leak sensitive information, especially given the potential consequences. I mean, look at what happened with Reality Winner.
Right. Leaking that NSA document about Russian election interference definitely showed how seriously governments take this stuff.
Absolutely. And it's not just governments. We're talking about powerful organizations, individuals, anyone who might not be too happy about having their dirty laundry aired for the world to see.
Hence the need for all the cloak and dagger stuff. And it doesn't stop at Tor, right? WikiLeaks actually recommends using a completely separate computer, like almost a digital burner phone.
Yeah, they even suggest physically destroying the hard drive afterward just to be extra safe.
Wow, talk about covering your tracks. They're serious. But does it actually work, though? I mean, have there been any cases where those precautions failed, where sources were identified?
That's the million-dollar question, and
Yeah.
it's tough to say for sure. Anonymity makes it difficult to track, but what we do know is WikiLeaks has been around for, well, quite a while, and they've published millions of documents. So clearly, they're doing something right.
All right, so we've established that getting information to WikiLeaks is a whole operation in itself. But once those documents are in their hands, that's where Vault 7 projects comes in, right? This is where we get into the leaks themselves.
Precisely, and it's where things start to feel, well, a little more like a spy thriller than your average document dump.
I was just thinking the same thing. Spy thriller is a good way to put it because some of these project names, they sound like something straight out of a Bond movie. Weeping Angel, Brutal Kangaroo. I mean, who thinks of these things?
Right. It's almost like they had a dartboard of ominous creatures and random adjectives.
But let's not be fooled by the creative naming conventions. The tech behind these projects is serious business.
Absolutely. Take Angel Fire, for example.
Yeah.
This wasn't about summoning fiery beings. It was about burrowing deep into Windows operating systems.
So we're talking malware. And not just your run-of-the-mill virus. This was designed to be practically invisible, right?
Exactly. It could survive reboots, software updates, you name it. Even if you thought you'd wiped your system clean, Angel Fire could still be lurking there.
Like a digital ghost in the machine.
A ghost that could potentially give the CIA access to your entire system.
And then there's Weeping Angel, which I have to say, after reading about this, I'll never look at a Samsung Smart TV the same way again.
Yeah, it's a bit unnerving to think that something as commonplace as your TV could be turned into a listening device.
That's what Weeping Angel was all about, right? Taking over those internet-connected TVs, specifically the ones with built-in microphones.
Yep, turning your living room into a potential surveillance hub without you ever knowing.
Okay, that's just creepy. And it's not just personal devices either, right? Some of these projects targeted much larger systems. Cherry Blossom, for instance.
Ah, Cherry Blossom. That one was all about public Wi-Fi. Think coffee shops, airports, those kinds of places.
So basically, anywhere you might log on to a public network, you're a potential target.
Essentially, yes. The CIA could potentially intercept your internet traffic, steal your passwords, your credit card info, the whole shebang.
Suddenly, that free Wi-Fi doesn't seem so appealing anymore.
It really makes you think twice about security trade-offs we make every day for the sake of convenience.
For sure. Okay, so we've got malware that can hide in plain sight. We've got TVs turned into listening devices. We've got public Wi-Fi hotspots compromised. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, there's brutal Kangaroo.
Ah, yes. The one that sounds like it should be wreaking havoc in the outback, but is actually far more insidious.
This was the one about air-gapped computers, right? Those systems that are supposed to be completely isolated from the internet for maximum security.
You got it. The idea being, if it's not connected, it can't be hacked.
Seems logical, but then along comes brutal Kangaroo to throw a wrench in the works. So how does that even work? You're telling me the CIA found a way to hack into computers that aren't even online?
Not directly, no. They got creative. They realized the weakest link was off of the human element.
Meaning
someone could use an infected USB drive on a regular computer, then unknowingly plug that same drive into the air-gapped system.
so it's like a Trojan horse. You think you're just transferring some files, but you're actually unleashing this brutal Kangaroo malware into a supposedly impenetrable system.
Precisely. Once inside the air-gapped network, the malware could spread, giving the CIA access to all sorts of sensitive information.
It's kind of brilliant in a terrifying way. You have to hand it to them.
Yeah, you almost have to admire the ingenuity while simultaneously being deeply unsettled by it. And here's the thing.
What's that?
These examples, Angel Fire, Weeping Angel, Brutal Kangaroo, they're just a small sample of what was revealed in Vault 7. There were dozens of projects detailed in those documents, each one offering a glimpse into the vast and often unsettling capabilities of the CIA's hacking arsenal.
It really makes you wonder what kind of information is out there, what other secrets are hiding in the digital shadows. And for someone who might be sitting on such secrets, someone who's thinking about blowing the whistle, it begs the question, what happens next? What's the process like once you've decided to leak?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's a conversation that requires a whole lot more nuance. Because leaking, especially when it comes to information like this, isn't just about hitting send. It's about understanding the potential ramifications, the risks involved, and the kind of support that might be needed along the way.
So you're saying WikiLeaks, they don't just hit publish and peace out. They actually offer guidance for navigating the aftermath of a leak.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about disappearing into the digital ether, though that's definitely part of it. They're talking about, legal ramifications, the importance of being extremely careful about what you say and do, even who you talk to, both online and offline.
Because once it's out there, no taking it back.
Exactly. And that's where organizations like the Courage Foundation come in. They've been a lifeline for many whistleblowers.
We've mentioned them a few times, the Courage Foundation, but just to be clear, what's their role exactly?
They provide a safety net, basically. Legal support, financial assistance, helping whistleblowers navigate the often overwhelming legal and media attention that comes with these cases.
Because let's face it, the powers that be, they don't always take kindly to having their secrets exposed.
Let's just say there are easier ways to become famous. We've seen governments throw the book at leakers in the past. Espionage charges, years, even decades behind bars.
Right, like Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden, reality winner, we were just talking about her. These are high-stakes decisions with potentially life-altering consequences.
And WikiLeaks, to their credit, they don't shy away from that. They lay it all out, the potential risks and rewards, the importance of understanding what you're getting into before you hit that submit button.
It's a lot to weigh the public's right to know versus your own personal safety. And I imagine there's no easy answer, no one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. It's a deeply personal decision with a complex web of ethical, moral, and legal implications. And it's something that deserves careful consideration from every angle.
Well said. This whole deep dive into WikiLeaks, these Vault 7 documents, it's been, well, I don't know about you, but it's definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. I think it really underscores something we often take for granted, which is the power of information. Who has it, who controls it, and what lengths they'll go to keep it hidden.
And the courage it takes for those who choose to shine a light on those secrets, even at great personal risk.
Absolutely. And it really makes you wonder, what other secrets are out there, hidden in plain sight, just waiting to be uncovered?
That's a question for another deep dive. For now, thanks for joining us as we explored the world of WikiLeaks and the CIA's Vault 7 projects. It's been enlightening, to say the least. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged.